Public Order Management Act, which restricted Ugandans from, freely associating and gathering. Members of Parliament in our 11th Parliament to stand very strongly against that oppressive law. Museveni is trying to sanitize his illegal acts. He wants to bring back an oppressive law of 1968, a law that was repealed when they took power in 1986. So you see a full cycle of turning around. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, I want once again to inform you that we have discussed and agreed with our parliamentary front to reignite the demand for our comrades, the common people, the foot soldiers that are under illegal detention. We are reigniting the demand for the unconditional release of political prisoners. While we might be diverted on other pertinent issues, let us remember that our people are continuously being abducted. As we speak right now, many are being tortured. I just met a young man called Ronald Segawa. He was abducted, tortured to near death, and dropped on the roadside. It took the grace of God to see that he's still alive. But many of his fingers were cut off, his fingernails were plucked out. But by the grace of God, Segawa is still alive. So we agreed with our parliamentary front to reignite the demand for those political prisoners, because we are the only voice that they have. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, I have guided our parliamentary front to make it their preoccupation. We are informing the world and the nation that Parliament in Uganda is not going to be business as usual. I repeat, Parliament business is not going to be business as usual. It's not going to be normal when a member of Parliament is picked up and kept under illegal incarceration. And even when one of them is released on bail, still the regime carries out its abduction with impunity on a member of Parliament. It is not going to be business as usual, and the front, the leadership of our parliamentary front will be announcing a series of activities to be carried out in, around, and near Parliament, and also within the population, to ensure that we pressure this regime to free our operation, illegal incarceration. He has no crime. Oliver Lutaya is under illegal incarceration. No crime whatsoever. Kalanzi and many others. And like Comrade Manjeri said, there was another abducted in Busoga. No crime whatsoever. We demand for their unconditional release, and we repeat that parliamentary business is not going to be business as usual. We thank you for God and my country. Oh. Nemu Uganda. Oba mbite mu Lusoga. Mwebale nnyo basebo ne bannyabo. Tinyina ensonga zino atozitanya mu Luganda. Namaze bebaza naye nyongero bebaza abasebo ne bannyabo bannamawulire ababulijjo n'aba Robert Obstacle kutuusa bulubaka eri abantu. Tetukitekinga for granted. Njagadde okugatta eddoboozi lyange ku maloboozi amangi nnyo aga condemninga oba agavumirirwa okukwatibwa n'okuwambibwa okw'abakulembeze bannaffe ababaka ba Parliament, Honorable Muhammad Sejirinya ne Honorable Alan Sewanyana. Ebyo bintu byonna bikolebwa mu mateeka. Tumanyi bulungi nti gavumenti ya Museveni yeri emabega wa bino. Tumanyi bulungi nti teyakatandika. Ku bano bonna tewali yali MP era tewali yali mu NUP, ne NUP teyaliwo. Ebikolobero bino byatandikira mu 2014. Era ffenna tujjukira nti Mwami Kayindo Tafiire yavaayo, tetumanyi kye yali anywedde, naye yavaayo n'ayogera amazima nga baziika Adoniya Tiberondo Bushenyi, n'ategeeza ensi enkola zaabwe n'ategeeza ensi nti baayambalanga uniform y'amagye g'Obote ne uniform za UPC ne bagenda vaayo gye buvuddeko n'agamba bamutabuka abalala tabakwata. Mumanyi nti amabaala ne clubs n'ebifo ebisanyukirwamu ebimu bigule ebirala si bigule. Obwo butali bwenkanya, obwo bukuusa tubuvumirira, naye era twagala n'okukunga bannayuganda batwegaleko okubuvumirira, era mu nnaku ezijja tujja kuvaayo n'amagezi amalala ge tuwa bannayuganda, si abakulembeze bokka ne bannayuganda bonna bonna okulaba nga beetaggulula ku mbeera eno. Ekyo nno ekya COVID-19 tekikomyawo, naye kigendedde ddala paka ku mugi. Kwaga amasomero g'abagagga n'abo abali mu buyinza, bo abaana COVID-19 amasinziiro ne bakomawo naye tebagizibwa genda masomero. Ekyo guno nnyo ekyo tukivumirira, naye tetulina koma kukivumirira, tulina okukirwanyisa abasebo ne banyabo. Ensonga okukoonako y'ensonga y'Omwami Museveni okuva okuvuganya nabo mu by'obufuzi. Constitution egamba nti omuntu emusingisiza omusango ogwo nti omuntu mugeko omusango ogwo. Omuntu nerifuuka leka yennyini Management Act yennyini nga bamaze okuŋŋaana n'abantu. Ekigenda okunyigiriza
Sawa ana mu 8 n'akirwanyisa kayihulu omukulembeze wa poliisi bamusiba okumala ennaku ebiri kakati bannange bagamba tonsiba kumala ssaawa 48 mu nte nga tebikyamukolera. Mr. Museveni is trying hard so much to remove bail today, but he needs to remember that the bail he's ensuring that he removes today, he might need that bail tomorrow. And there's examples, by the way. General Who was in charge of police, and he always spoke against the 48-hour rule, saying, no, people should be arrested even if it is beyond the 48. And his directive was, please release me, the 48 hours have elapsed. When he did that to defend him, it did not exist. So we need to be extremely careful. Mr. Museveni, be extremely careful. You are a candidate for bail. Banaye asana ndaba kayitirivu ndabye omugole ngali mu kunywa ka juice. Banaye omugole John Cliff Wamala. Let's welcome back that man from honeymoon. Kasaizi ke mulaba tandiso teekako bamulabirira. The better so that we live. Yes, Derek.
About parliamentary sessions. I had the Honourable talking about it. Team Parliament, maybe, yes, and that's just an additional. Second question is, there is a war, a word of war, a war word, whatever it is called, on social media, about two generals in two countries, that's Uganda and Guinea. Lieutenant Colonel Mamadi Dumboya and the Lieutenant talking about the coup that just happened in Guinea. And there is a lot of exchange going on between the two supremacies in the two countries. I would like to send this to the president of NUP, former presidential candidate, but also one who has many times reckoned the fact that he was seated, but he's supposed to be president of that. In such a state and situation, what would be your mind about it?
Okay, yes, wife.
Nayanziza amanya gange nizoyisa Moses kola nibusoga wana. Honorable Senyonyi, twalaba parliament eyaggwa ey'ekumi. Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga yali baguddogo okutulugunya abana Uganda okwaliwo okusingira ddala mu sekita yaffe y'abannamawulire. Parliament ey'ekumi n'essalawo kati bagenda okuliira abannamawulire bonna abaakusebwa mu budde bwa kalulu. Ensonga nga mwe ababaka ba parliament omuli mu buyinza kituuseewa.
Okay, I guess we'll just respond to those. There was a specific one to the president. Just he showed his head was beaten and she was crying, and that was wrong. And I saw several others, I saw others limping. So you let's know until that's the reality. Then regarding political prisoners, now the interesting challenge is, so many of these people are not as known, of course, Honorable Sewanyana, Segirinya, Machete, Oliver, Kalanzi, and several others. And we have seen to these detention facilities. The excuse has been COVID-19. We don't allow one to enter these people without knowing anything that's happening to them, which is one of the things we are fighting. And even through the Human Rights Committee of Parliament, we are pushing again. Because you remember, I got to these detention facilities to establish, and they were blocked. So we are saying we're going to tire. One, establish the exact number. Two, the condition in which they are. How to get them legal, medical, and other kinds of help. So we are digging up on with all this, you know. But we'll keep going on, because for us to fight for people whose names we don't even know, etc., etc. When they come from jail, like when the Nubian list came out, they told so many people who are, of course, Chigo, and they are wearing T-shirt having Bobi Wine's picture, that they are supporters of NUP. So we are trying to establish who these are, and that's why we're saying the rights, including rights to legal representation. And then to represent sessions, because that was directly at us. The other day, Jacob Bolanya said, look, I don't have jurisdiction over the courts of law, which is correct. But we are saying, look, as the leadership of Parliament, these are your people, these are your members, take some action. He promised to go to them. I have not yet seen him go to visit them. So perhaps he will establish exactly what's going on. So keep his promise. He said he's going to visit these colleagues, so we hope that he will visit them. That Honorable Sewanyana, we don't know where he is. So if the speaker keeps his promise of going to them, we don't know where Honorable Sewanyana is. Ku nsonga y'amawulire abazze bakubibwa fenga ebi tuli ku record nga tugamba nti kikya Uganda na okutulugunyizibwa oba munnabyabufuzi oba munnamizanyo oba munnamawulire temusirekanga ba NUP fenga ekyokwirwanako bannange bannamawulire ensonga zino bajja sigala nga batulugunya ati yenna ali safe ate ekyomuzapiira ne mudda so mulina okuleetera nammwe mu buli ngeri yonna yes bayitirivu abasinga tumanyi nabye bakwatako amanya gaabwe embeera ki gye balimu kyobategezaako okulaba nti tugenda kiri makomera gano of course nga batulemesa ne balemesa kubanga baagala bakweke ekiri eyo naye kubanga tuba twagala tutegeere abantu bano be baani okusookera ddala kubanga Banubian n'abalala bavaayo ne batugamba tulina abanja abali makomera kitali atyo ekibabeera okuba yali ayambala t-shirt ya Kyagulanyi oba bamanyi nti muwagizi wa NUP kakati nga twagala tegeera embeera z'abantu bano era tuva tugamba nti twagala amateeka gakuumibwe. Oweekitiibwa sipiika Olanya Jacob yagamba nti ku nsonga y'ababaka ajja kufuna sipiika tuyinza okukiriza kye yasuubiza kubanga kijja okutegera abantu baffe Honorable Sewanyana titumanyi wajali kakati sipiika bw'anaatukiriza ekisuubizo kyekyo batandikiraawo. There was a critical question to the President. Let me invite him to come and respond to it. And perhaps comment on any of these others as he desires.
Sebo Webalenyo, I'm answered. There's one that was directed to me. I don't have to answer you, Comrade Wandera Dedi, Mr. Wandera Dedi, sir. Is acts of military generals. I think you are misplacing titles here. In the context of Uganda, it's okay, but I think it's wrong because compared and the son of Museveni, I think it's a mismatch because one right is the can and another is just by the commission, and is the one that sanctions or gives time, and then keeps giving him illusion that he's indeed chairman. And you face promotions from his brain and his tweet there. So I will commenting about you will need a little bit of writing so that we level up. In and saying it's wrong and saying to get out. But that fixed with this is something that came to in castigating military coups. Military coups. He him is a constitution amending it for the simple of the of the in Guinea Conakry. Is hypocritical. Of course, illegal, people. It happens and as a happen to you here, and people will celebrate. Ekyo kankibalekere amagye gakona nga naye Union.